technical and functional is a major factor of the software, which will be required in the long run to maintain an enhancement of the software in-house, from remotely, work from home. The document is describing the synopsis of the technical and functional documents. We are writing our technical and functional documents based on the following concept, which will take care of software maintenance and support. Our documentation system deployed in the cloud, AWS. Content and its synopsis. Introduction. This section briefly describes the overall functionality of the software. It also specifies the intended audience who will use this document in various phases of the software development cycle. Application software overview. This section will comprise the overall features, basic functionality, that the software contains in the form of a pictorial view. References of documents. This section defines the documents to be referred to as the context of understanding this document. Scope of project. This section maps the business processes, which are mapped in the software. Application architecture. This section broadly defines the application architecture with a pictorial presentation. Interface overview. This section clearly depicts an overview of the application's interfaces with other software modules, solutions. Development platform. This section clearly states the platform used to build the software solution, application. System design. This section describes in detail the functioning of the software solution/application containing the process flow, DFDs, workflow, back-end, database schema, and front-end design. Process flow, process modeling. This section describes the complete process flow that the application solution follows. A detailed pictorial representation with data and information flow is available. Application architecture in AWS. This section broadly defines the application architecture with a pictorial presentation. Interface overview. This section clearly depicts an overview of the application's interfaces with other software modules, solutions. Development platform, AWS. This section clearly states the platform used to build the software solution, application. Interface overview. This section clearly depicts an overview of the application's interfaces with other software modules, solutions. Business logic and algorithm. Process flow diagram template. Purpose of a process model. A process model describes the activities that exist within a business process. A scope statement that sets out, in broad terms, the content of the business process and the process model that exposes it. The process model will describe the activities that exist within a business process. The process model defines all the required activities and sets them into a logical sequence. This sequence is driven by the dependency of one process on the information that is provided to it by one or more other processes. It is not time-based and should not be confused with scheduling tasks as may be represented in a Gantt chart or PERT diagram. The process model will define all the required activities and sets them into a logical sequence. This sequence is driven by the dependency of one process on the information that is provided to it by one or more other processes. Data flow diagram, DFD, Level 1, and Level 2. This section depicts the Level 1 DFD using Yarden and code notation standards. It depicts the table, triggers, procedures, functions, views, sequences, and business logic. Workflow. This section gives a detailed workflow diagram in order to understand and run the software. Back-end design and business logic, database schema. This section depicts the detailed design of back-end database schema, containing table structure, functions, procedures, triggers, sequences, and views. ER diagram. The entity relationship, ER, diagram database engine-wise, module-wise, and integrated solution-wise. Table description. This section is defining the table structure, column descriptions, along with the primary key, foreign keys, quick codes, checks, constraints on table columns, indexes, sequences, and database. Triggers, containing trigger name, time, level, event, and brief functionality. The table names appear sorted in alphabetical order. Functions and procedures. This section contains the function, procedure name and definition, or the purpose, of the function, procedure. Triggers. This section contains the name of the trigger, their corresponding table, and the function, procedure name called from. Sequences. This section contains the name of the sequence, minimum value, maximum value, and the incremental value. Views. This section contains the name and purpose of the view. Tables along with their columns used in the view and defining the view state. Data dictionary. This section contains the column names, data type, data length, null or not null, column description, constraints, and reference. Table S. Front-end design, user interface, and business logic. This section describes the front-end design of their software solution, application along with business logic. Starting the application. This section lists the steps performed to start their software solution, application. It also describes the purpose of each step in context to the performance of the software solution, application. Application menu and options. This section gives a pictorial view of the main menu layout and the list of options in each of the menu options. Toolbar functionality. This section describes in detail each of the toolbars. Button, meaning of the button and its functionality. Setup and business logic. This section describes the setup parametric option, its purpose, screen layout, input description details, tables used, and business logic. Masters. Master option 1 and business logic. This section describes the purpose, business logic, their screen layout, screen input descriptions, and the tables used for defining their master option 1. Master option 2 and business logic. This section describes the purpose, business logic, the screen layout, screen input descriptions, and the tables used for defining the master option 2. Transactions. Transaction option 1 and business logic. This section describes the purpose, business logic, screen layout, screen input descriptions, and the tables used in the transaction entry screen for transaction option 1. Transaction option 2 and business logic. This section describes the purpose, business logic, screen layout, screen input descriptions, and the tables used in the transaction entry screen for transaction option 2. Processes and business logic. This section describes the batch process insert and updates query performed to update information from, to other modules, software applications. For example, typically, the option is used to update data from the inventory module for new asset purchases, update data to the accounting module for passing accounting entry in the general ledger, and so on. Queries. Query option 1 and business logic. This section describes the drill-down query feature for query option 1. The complete business logic of the same is also explained. Query option 2 and business logic. This section describes the drill-down query feature for query option 2 used along with complete business logic. Report, documentation system in the cloud. Browsing. Authorized users can upload the documents, video, audio, and also download. Users can search on content also. This is our documentation solution in the cloud. All our functional and technical documents system-wise uploaded to the cloud server, AWS, for work from home. We have given access rights in the cloud to authorized persons for software development and maintenance purposes. In our documentation system, we have provided the search engine also to search on content. In our database, we are maintaining the complete records and the log for costing and other purposes. This is the key to our work from home. The managers will add and control